Hello and welcome, I am Shreya and you're watching the Pamphlet. Recently, the Georgia Assembly in the US passed a resolution condemning Hindu phobia that shone a ray of hope in identifying the crucial instances of Hindu phobes in Western society. Question is this enough? Apparently not, as a resolution can't impact the deep-rooted anti-Hindu sentiments in the West. Here the question directly points towards a tick in the particular fraction of the society that refuses to acknowledge Hindu nationalism. This, in return, has flushed out the skeletons in the closets of such alleged ideologists. Karan Kataria, a name that stands at the receiving end of anti-Hindu sentiments in the London School of Economics and Political Science, has been in the thick of the Indian media. A law student pursuing his masters in law at LSE has made some shocking revelations about being targeted in a smear campaign for the sole reason being a Hindu nationalist. However, we will get into the Hindu-phobic elements later in this video. Right now, let us know who Karan Kataria is. An elected representative of his cohort's academic, in a short period, he was also elected as a delegate to the National Union for Students. Seeing his rise in the democratic circles of the university, Karan chose to run for the post of General Secretary of the LSE Student Union. This is where the story of Hindu phobia starts. Being from South Asia and that too of Indian origin, it is believed that many people could not stand to see an Indian Hindu student leading the LSE. Not any leader or even from any strong background, but a middle-class farmer's son leading the student union of a so-called prestigious university in London. Would the ideology opposing Kataria accept him as a farmer's son happily if he wasn't known as a proudly Hindu student? Well, let that go. In a country that claims to be democratic, a smear campaign was launched leading to the disqualification of Kataria. Why is this important? Once elected, the authorities at LSE couldn't intervene in any process as the student union is an autonomous body. In a statement, Karan Kataria mentioned that unfortunately, some individuals could not bear to see an Indian Hindu leading the LSE and resorted to vilifying my character and very identity in what was clearly in line with the alarming cancel culture. He further mentioned that he won't be a silent victim of Hindu phobia. But who was smearing him just because he was a nationalist Hindu? Before getting into who launched this lethal smear campaign against Karan, let's take a pause at the tags he received in the smear campaign. Karan was labelled as homophobic, Islamophobic, queerphobic and a Hindu nationalist. How does being a Hindu nationalist affect his candidacy? Let us have a look at what Karan Kataria has to say on the topic.
भारतीय स्टूडेंट्स बहुत संख्या में बाहर जाते हैं ये सोच के कि जो कि आई थिंक एक बबल है जो बर्स्ट होना चाहिए और मैं तो अब उस ओपिनियन का नहीं हूँ तो हमें कैश काउ समझा जाता है यू पे योर फीस कम हियर इतने हाई इन्फ्लेशन में जहाँ 7 पाउंड ऑलमोस्ट 700 रुपए एक बार खाने के लिए आपको देना है इतना इन्फ्लेशन हाई है और आप आइए इकोनॉमी को बूस्ट करिए लेकिन डू नॉट बी एक्टिव एंड एंगेज्ड इंडियन do not be an active and engaged Hindu on campus do not be active and engaged brown on campus so the moment aap active or engaged hote ho you do not tolerate wrong misinformation a maligned agenda coming towards your country towards your institutions the moment you're targeted if we echo with them yes there's nothing good all things are there's no democracy blah 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 you'll be termed as an intellect and a wow individual and a true student activist but the moment you stand for your country for your people for your institutions for your constitution you're termed as a fascist this is what new normal tried to be made and all these messages that have been done I would more relate it to the racism aspect and a cancel culture कि नॉट फाइटिंग एन इंडिविजुअल विद हिज पर्सनल कैलिबर मुझसे बात करनी थी मैं एक्सेप्ट करता थी क्रिटिसिज्म और मैसेजेस आते मेरे मैनिफेस्टो से रिलेटेड जो मैं करना चाहता था उसको क्रिटिसाइज किया जाता मैं बहुत खुश होता कि डेमोक्रेसी का ये सिद्धांत है कि आप क्रिटिसाइज कीजिए लेकिन किसी के फेथ के ऊपर किसी के नेशनैलिटी के ऊपर किसी के बिलीफ्स के ऊपर नहीं ये शायद किसी भी डेमोक्रेटिक किसी भी नॉर्मल सोसाइटी में स्वीकार्य नहीं होना चाहिए। मेरी आइडियोलॉजी, मेरे मेरे भारतीय होने पर, गौरवान्वित होने पर प्रश्न चिन्ह लगाने का प्रयास नहीं होना चाहिए था. बिकॉज वी आर अ स्टूडेंट. You ask me, you question me pertaining to what is happening on campus, what I am doing on campus. I'm celebrating my great Indian philosophy. I'm celebrating great Indic values. I'm celebrating the great leaders like Dr. Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar on campus. I'm celebrating Swami Vivekananda. So just because I celebrate Swami Vivekananda, you cannot term me as a Hindu fascist. Swami
Exactly.
Vivekananda, I believe he said, my journey is from truth to truth. I'm not denying that yours is something wrong, but do not demean mine. So again, I am questioning myself. What and why this happened? It was just a student union election. जो मैं करना चाहता हूँ वो मेरा आग्रह यही है, और इस प्लेटफॉर्म के माध्यम से भी सब कि एक फैक्ट फाइंडिंग कमिटी बनाई जाए. और ये सब जो एलिगेशन जो मुझे भी रोज 10 नई बातें सुनने को मिलती हैं, तो मैं एकदम आई कांट मेक अ प्रूडेंट जजमेंट. तो एक यूनियन को एक फैक्ट फाइंडिंग कमिटी बना करके सारे एविडेंसेस को पूरा एग्जामिन करके, क्योंकि मैं भी अब तक वो ऐसा स्मीयर कैंपेन इतना मास स्ट्रैटेजिकली प्लान्ड कि आप सोर्स ही नहीं पता कर पा रहे हो. फॉरवर्ड ग्रुप में सभी सोसाइटीज में फॉरवर्ड फॉरवर्ड फॉरवर्ड, और कहाँ से आप उसको किसने भेजा. तो ये एक फैक्ट फाइंडिंग कमेटी बने ताकि आगे से फिर से कोई करण कटारिया ना बने, फिर से कोई रश्मि सावंत रिपीट ना हो. वरना कितने करण कटारिया रश्मि सावंत बनकर के हर बार हम ये विल बी ऑन द रिसीविंग एंड एवरी टाइम, जस्ट बिकॉज वी आर इंडियन, जस्ट बिकॉज we celebrate our culture, our Indicness. We cannot be on the receiving end. Rather, we should be proud because we come from a civilization that celebrates Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. I had that thing on campus, one world, one family, G20 celebration we had. Again, it was put to question. That's what I'm saying. The individual who term themselves to be liberals, but are very, very, opaque and very intolerant in accepting and listening to someone else's view, which is against the very democratic value of the society, of a welfare state. So here is what my point is. Ekam sat vipra bahudanti. You might term it as Hindu phobia, you might term it as racism, you might term it as anti-India rhetoric, you might term it as hate towards Indicness, towards Indian culture, towards Indian values. So I give this onus to you, looking at what all is happening to a student who's away from his family on a foreign soil, contested just for the student welfare, is targeted, his character has been assassinated. What term you want to give? I give this onus to you. To my limited knowledge, what emotions I had, I penned it down and I tweeted it. That's it. Now I leave it on like more wise people than me, what to do, what to say, and but for me it's a clear-cut racism.
It can only be understood that being a Hindu nationalist in LSE is derogatory, and he was asking for trouble. The hypocrisy of the Western world could not be more clear. From time to time, politicians, leaders, activists and media houses in the West accuse India and Prime Minister Narendra Modi of being undemocratic. But here is how democracy works in the Western world, that too a mere university level. Does the story of Karan Kataria ring a bell of a similar incident? This entire saga relates to Karan Kataria, but it definitely isn't new to a student of Indian origin studying at a foreign university. In the year 2021, an Indian origin student, Rashmi Sagar, at Oxford University was elected to be the first female Indian president of its student union. Similar to Karan Kataria's case, she was labelled as anti-Semitic, racist and transphobic over some of her own social media posts. She was targeted for her beliefs, humiliated and cyberbullied. The battle of her beliefs didn't end here, as an academic at Oxford named Abhijit Sarkar smeared her parents in the set hatred and Hindu phobia. Looking into his Twitter account would clear any doubts you have regarding the same. Though it was later found out by the internal investigation at Oxford University that Rashmi was indeed a victim of bullying. What was left out in the report is why she was targeted in the first place. Let's see what Rashmi Samant has to say.
So the Hindu community is a global micro minority, sirf minority, not just a minority, it's a micro minority. In the United Kingdom, it's 2% of the total population. In the United States as well, it's a single digit, majority. In Pakistan, it's 1%. In Afghanistan, it's 0%. So we are a micro minority. And the attacks against us are humongous. We are the most exemplary community in every society. In UK, in US, in Canada, we are most educated, most well paid, most law abiding. The prison population in the United Kingdom for the Hindu community is 0%. That's how law abiding we are. But the problem with law abiding citizens is that we are least equipped to deal with attacks because we are so law abiding that we don't know what to do the moment we are attacked. So I think that is the major problem of the Hindu community right now. We are so focused on succeeding, on being exemplary, on being good, that we don't know how to deal with the bad. And the attacks are only increasing because of stereotypes reinforced by media, the film industry, popular culture, academia, and so on. So I think it's important for us to show our Hindu identity in all these fields, anywhere we are, in politics, in academia, in film, in anything that we are a part of, and to make sure that we do not become a prey, and if somebody else becomes a victim of this attack, of this anti-Hindu hatred, that we stand up and support them so that we as a community can continue to prosper and continue to go ahead in that sense.
While we hope that Karan Kataria gets justice, this repetition of Hindu-phobic attitude and a continued mere campaign that knows no limit whatsoever in the West leaves us wondering if these so-called prestigious universities are safe for a Hindu student who is proud of his beliefs and identity. Karan Kataria's battle against Hindu-phobic vindication is more rough-edged because it has a force of political influence that goes beyond his own peers. In a report by the First Post, something explosive came through. It has been said that this particular smear campaign against a Hindu nationalist student was spearheaded by an academic named Mukulika Banerjee. The name won't mean much to you right now, but after we tell you where her roots of ideology lie, it would be shocking. Mukulika Banerjee's political interests align with the Congressional Prince of India, the not-so-young 52-year-old leader Rahul Gandhi. Political commentator Abhijit Iyer Mitra pointed out in a tweet that, unsurprisingly, Mukulika Banerjee, a hate monger who is academic at LSE and associated with INC India and worked with Rahul Gandhi during his Bharat Jodo Yatra, was instigating the hate campaign against Karan Kataria. Hindu phobia is real. The need for Abhijit to say Hindu phobia is real is directly related to the world's denial of Hindu phobia. Coming back to Mukulika Banerjee, the alleged academic is said to be part of the South Asia Center at the LSE. Her presence at the particular center indicates a collective Hindu phobia directed towards nationalist Hindus. Her affiliation with Rahul Gandhi came to light when she was seen walking beside him in the conquest-named Bharat Jodo Yatra. Even the story idea of disqualifications seems inspired. The ardent follower of a disqualified member of parliament is said to be the one who instigated the smear campaign against the Hindu nationalist student. In leaked chats presented in the same article by First Post, it can be seen how she instigated the students and peers of Karan Kataria into believing that he was an RSS stooge, a Hindu nationalist and fascist. An alleged campaign was said to be instigated by Mukulika on every social media platform against Karan. Messages have come forward alleging that he used anti-Semitic, genocidal language, calling RSS founders fascist, and how Karan was connected to them. How a Hindu Swayamsevak organization became fascist is hard to understand. But when an academic tries to influence young minds by making tailor-made acquisitions just to smear a student, it really questions the integrity of the particular academic. In this case, Mukulika Banerjee. A few more details about Mukullika are that she invited Rahul Gandhi to speak at the LSE and she gave an interview to a Pakistani channel named Dawn while defending the Congressional Prince. Keeping the academic banerjee aside, we have some questions we would like to ask Rahul Gandhi. Often impersonating the image of being a youth leader, Rahul Gandhi keeps seeking support from the youth. So why is someone so close to Rahul Gandhi is said to be leading a smear campaign against one of the students? Is this what he believes as well? Ambush and personally smearing a student just because he is a Hindu nationalist? Mukullika's participation in Bharat Jodo Yatra indicates her enthusiasm and stamina for politics. But does Karan Kataria, a student of Indian origin who believes in democratic values, deserve this type of treatment from his own? At the end of his statement, Kataria urged the LSE authorities to support him. But this isn't about support towards one person. Instead, the matter is about being tolerant of the presence of a particular community which, owing to Mukullika Banerjee's involvement, seems hard to do so. While we hope that Karan Kataria gets justice, this repetition of Hindu-phobic attitude and a continued smear campaign that knows no limit whatsoever in the West leaves us wondering if these so-called prestigious universities are safe for a Hindu student who is proud of his beliefs and identity.